One. Hey guys, welcome to our Fit Foundation team call. It is Wednesday, October 9th, and I am so excited for tonight's speaker. Her name is LEXIE. She has been a coach for almost a full year now. Next month is going to be her 1-year coaching anniversary. She is a mom of 3, and she actually just recently left her job to pursue being a mom full-time as well as coaching full-time. So I'm so excited to hear from her. This girl is a powerhouse speaker. She's a diamond coach. If you've heard from her before, you know that she has a huge heart. She is a massive hustler, a big thinker. She's super driven. And we heard from her on a team call a few months ago, and she just blew us all away with her ability to just think super big. So I can't wait to hear from her again tonight. LEXIE, I'm going to pass it over to you, girl, and let's get this party started. Woo!
Okay, can everyone hear me? Perfect. Okay, so like Jackie said, my name is LEXIE. I have been a coach for almost a year now. So I enrolled in Beachbody. It was like November 7th or 8th of 2018, something like that. That's when I joined my first challenge group. I was 4 months postpartum. I had just returned to work full time. I was really struggling with energy. I felt no confidence at all the things that us postpartum moms feel, and I was struggling in every way, shape, or form. I didn't think these programs would work for me. Before joining this, I was a total gym girl. Like, I was literally at the gym like 20 minutes before my water broke. Like, I was constantly at the gym every day. I had no problems getting to the gym. I was always motivated. But then I had Alden and I returned to work, and I just, quite frankly, didn't know what to do. I was at a different stage of my life, and I was at a crossroads of, I really wanted to take care of myself because I knew fitness was really important to me, but I didn't have the time to spend 2 hours at the gym like I used to. And so I found myself watching my coach Kinsley on social media for months, and I was creeping hard on these programs that she was doing and just her mindset and how happy and energized she was. And I remember sitting there every single day when I got to work. I am a breastfeeding mom, so I was pumping at work, and I was sitting there pumping, and I was watching her stories, and I was looking there and watching her wondering, why can't I do that? And I thought that both about coaching and as well as about the boot camps. And so I reached out to her. I joined my first boot camp, super skeptical. I was convinced I would be using my 30-day money-back guarantee. Like, that's the only reason I joined, is because I knew I'd get my money back if I hated it. So I joined my first boot camp. I started feeling more energy. I started feeling better. I loved how I was feeling in every way. But I remember, even before I joined, I was watching Kinsley and asking tons of coaching questions before I even enrolled in my first boot camp, because I was interested in coaching. I saw the potential in it, but I, of course, like most people, was like, oh, good for her, but not for me. And I can't do that. Oh, I'm scared of this and that. And I don't post that kind of stuff on social media. And I remember before I even started coaching, I told Kinsley, I'm never posting a selfie and I'm never talking on my story. And here I am. But those were all the same skeptical things. I had them too. So I got to the point where towards the end of my first boot camp, I was like 2.5 weeks into my first boot camp. And I finally decided, I don't want to say finally, it was only a couple weeks, but I finally decided that I wanted to pursue coaching. And a huge part of me as a person is that if I do anything, I don't half-ass what I do. If I'm going to do something, I want to put forth my full effort, because otherwise I feel like I'm just wasting my time and it's not serving anybody. So I dove into coaching. I was really, really scared. I had tons of fears. I was convinced I wouldn't have time for this. I mean, I was already a full-time working mom. My kids were in sports. My husband works like 60 hours a week. So I'm chaperoning to and from school and work and sports. And I didn't feel I could fit coaching in on top of working out and exercising too. But obviously I found the time for it, like you're finding on this team call right now. But I started cracking it into my little pieces of my day. So I reminded myself that before I joined this, I was still on my phone on my pump breaks. But instead of watching Kinsley build her business, I decided to build my own. And I feel like that is something that really propelled me forward at the very beginning of my business, was because I was on my phone anyways. I was watching other people anyways do exactly what I wanted to do. So why not me take the action and start my own business? So that's kind of what brought me into coaching. And it kind of just went from there. But so I'm going to talk about a couple different things tonight. So that's my story on me. The few different things, like Jackie said, I'll be talking a lot about consistency. I really want to talk about consistency and mindset and just hustling through different seasons. I feel like these all really mesh together because honestly, I feel like all of these are huge contributing factors in this business. So the first thing I want to talk about is consistency. This honestly is more important than I think anything in our coaching business, because if you're not posting on your social media, if you're not posting on your stories, if you're not doing business building activities every single day, people not only won't trust you, but they're not going to enroll with you. That's just how it is. People don't trust people on the internet like easily. So why would they trust you if you're not showing up every single day? So staying consistent over time is crucial. So I'm just now, since I started coaching like the last day of November of 2018, I'm now enrolling people that I invited that December and that I followed up with every single month since then. And that to me is like mind blowing because it's been almost a year of messaging them every month or every other month before they've enrolled with me. And they've watched me on social media every single day. So if you're at like month 1 or 2 and you're not feeling as though you are enrolling the amount of people that you want to enroll, you just need to stay consistent because those people will come around, but everyone takes a different amount of time. Someone will enroll within a week of watching you. Someone might take a year or year and a half. Like you never know. So you have to stay consistent. And personally, the things that I think are really important to stay consistent with is obviously social media. But within social media, you need to be doing multiple things. And that's what I feel like a lot of us coaches, especially at the beginning, will feel, well, I'm doing all these things, but nothing's happening. I'm not moving forward. Well, you're doing 2 out of the 4. So basically, you're not doing any of them. Because if you're not doing all of them, you're not going to be moving forward. So for me personally, no matter how busy I am or anything, I'm posting on my social media consistently, like on my actual Instagram page. Personally, I post a lot. I post at least every other day, sometimes twice a day. If I post twice a day, I'll post like a fitness thing or a boot camp coaching thing, and then I'll post a lifestyle thing with my kids. So I'm at least posting and showing up on social media every single day with posting something. I'm also posting on my stories, I don't know, maybe 10 times a day, roughly. You want to be showing up on your stories consistently throughout the day. And that was something that I remember with Kinsley, is that she was very active on her stories. So I knew that she'd be at the front of, like when you go to Instagram, like that first couple circles, you want to hang out there because when people get on Instagram, you want to be in that first couple little circles. So if it's been 6 hours since you posted anything, you're not at the front there. And I don't expect, or you don't need to be doing this every single day. Of course, we all need unplugged time. But for the majority of building this business, you do want to stay consistent on your social media. Another thing is business building activities. No matter how busy you are, I personally think you need to do at least one business building activity every single day. So I'm talking about when you're really busy. So obviously, the normal average every day, you want to be checking off all of the things like on our different trackers we have and all of those resources. You want to aim for doing all the things. But when I'm talking about staying consistent, I really mean when you're busy and when you feel like you have no time. Like for instance, this last weekend, I was a bridesmaid in my cousin's wedding. And regardless, I made sure I had a post typed up. I actually had the post typed up and ready before the event so that I could just post it that day. And I had it ready to go. I was posting on my stories as much as possible, as well as I did one business building activity that day, which for me was I sent invites. So no matter how busy you are, you need to be doing a business building activity, whether that's invites or follow-ups or maybe even following new people and expanding your market. Regardless of how busy or how much you have going on in your life, that's really important every single day so that no matter how busy you are, you're still moving forward, as well as obviously checking into your challenge groups. That's like a no-brainer of staying consistent with checking into your challenge groups. And another thing I have is with staying consistent that's helped me, especially as a mom. So I build my business in basically now since I left my job, like during nap times. So before, when I worked full time, I built my business during my 10-minute pumping breaks, my 30-minute lunch break, and an hour after my kids went to sleep. And I would wake up at like 4:30 to do my workout and stuff before work. But that's really the only time I had. And still, even now that I'm home with my kids, I really don't have any more time. Like, I thought I'd have so much more time. These little things are time suckers, okay? You don't have that much time. So like this afternoon, Alden took a pretty good nap. So during his nap time, I worked. And that's how my schedule is every single day. So like, for instance, I actually write out every day. Like, I think I have it sitting here. So like, I write out this is Tuesday. So like, I write out my schedule every day. So like yesterday, I have my coaching activities that I needed to do. I had my personal activities, like I had vacuum and fold clothes, like that kind of stuff. And then my schedule of like times for things so that I know when I'm committed to certain things. So like I committed, I do my workout in the morning. I had 5 p.m. soccer. I had 6 p.m. football and 3 p.m. pickup for kids at school. Like these are the different things that I'm committing to throughout the day. So when you're really busy or when you're especially first starting and you feel like you have 100 things to do, I kind of just brain dump on my paper, but I also on here, I write my top 3 priorities for each thing. So like under coaching, my first priority was invites. My second was I needed to write a post for the day. And my third was follow-ups and to follow up with my people on streak. So I did those 3. So then whatever extra time I have, I can start going through my list. That helps me so much because not only am I such a list person, I'm like such an Enneagram 3. I like love crossing stuff off. So not only am I such a list person, but also it keeps me organized so that I know what needs to get done and the time frames in which I have to do things. Because otherwise, if I don't have a list, if Alden goes down to take a nap, I literally am just like going to sit on the couch and like scroll social media or do one of these other things on here that isn't as important. So having a list for me is super, super important. Posting and engagement. So when I first started, and still sometimes, I feel like I don't have enough engagement within my social media. And I try to not get wrapped up in that, but I do want to say that I remember at one point, I almost thought like I would back off on posting because I wasn't getting the engagement I wanted. But the thing is, instead of backing off on your engagement when you feel like you're not getting enough, you honestly need to produce more. And that's what is so hard for all of us to kind of comprehend is when you're not getting enough returns. So you're not enrolling the amount of people or you're not getting engagement on your posts or responses and that kind of stuff. Instead of slowing down, you need to just pump up the volume. You need to just pump up the gas because the more you do, the more results you're going to get, the more people are going to respond, the more people who are going to enroll with you, the more they see you, the more they're going to want to engage with you because obviously if they're following you on social media, they are connecting with you and they vibe with you because otherwise they wouldn't be still following you. So if you're feeling like that, because I felt like that before, don't calm it down. Don't, oh, I'll only post twice a week. No, post every freaking day. Like post more because then they'll see you more and they'll open their eyes more. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I wanted to throw that in there. And then also with consistency, I was thinking about this earlier today with if you are at a corporate job, so at your normal job, if you don't show up to work, do you think you're going to get a raise? If you don't show up to work, do you think that you're going to get praise from your bosses or your fellow colleagues? No, if you don't show up every single day to your job, you're going to get fired. And honestly, you need to treat this business the same exact way. If you don't show up, you're not going to get fired, but nobody's going to enroll with you. If you don't show up, people aren't going to trust you. Your teammates aren't going to look up to you. It's not going to take you to where you want to go. So you need to treat this as if your normal 9-to-5 job, that when you're not feeling sick or you're not going to call in sick. That's the same thing with this. You can't just call in sick every day or you can't have excuses of why you can't show up. That wouldn't fly at your 9-to-5 job. You wouldn't have a job anymore. So you need to look at this as the exact same way. And then seasons kind of wraps into this with hustling through different seasons. So I kind of mentioned it earlier, but just no matter how busy you are, keep in mind the things that are your goal things to do. So maybe yours are different than mine, but personally, the posting on social media and staying consistent and my stories and challenge groups and all of those really are the things I do no matter what season I'm in. And then I should have brought my water up here. My mouth's getting dry. Mindset. So I want to talk about mindset. I could probably talk about mindset for the next 7 years. I strongly feel that this is honestly like the most important thing besides consistency in this business, because if you don't have the right mindset, you won't be successful. And that's just the way it is. And when I first started, mindset was something that I really tried to nail down right off the bat because I could see how important that was. But I feel as though a lot of people they'll take care of their bodies, but they're not taking care of their mindset too. They're drinking their Shakeology, but they're not doing personal development. You have to do all of these things to take care of yourself, or you won't be moving in the direction that you want to be moving. So mindset's going to take work. Know that this business is going to take work, and it's hard, but it will pay off if you work on it. And how to get out of like a funk. So for instance, I think it was Monday, I had just gotten back from vacation and I was just feeling like kind of down, and I was starting to get in this victim mindset because it is the 9th of the month now. It was like the 7th of the month when I was feeling like this, and I'm at SC0 right now, and I don't like that. And I started feeling in a victim mindset, and for like 3 hours I was just like feeling yucky, and I didn't like how I felt, and my mind started spiraling into all these things like the imposter syndrome, right? Like, am I meant to do this? Like, how am I going to make this work if I'm at SC0 in the last 2 weeks? And I started spiraling. But instead of letting myself spiral for hours or days, instead, I sat down and asked myself, how am I going to get myself out of this? How am I going to feel better? So I turned on some music and I danced. I went on a walk with my dog. So for me, I love dancing. I love music. I love getting outside. I did my workout. So for me, those things really help me change my mood around. So whatever your things are, and I want you to kind of think about that after the call, like next time you're feeling that way, what are your 3 things or 2 things that you're going to do? I want you to have them so that you know exactly in that moment what to do, so that you're kind of prepared, because that happens to every single one of us on this earth. You're going to get in a funk. You're going to feel like you can't do this. You're going to get in that victim mindset, and you're going to get that imposter syndrome. So just having those things kind of in your toolbox of how to handle it is seriously so helpful. And just knowing that fear is such a positive thing, but all of us see fear as such a negative thing. But instead of looking at fear as an issue with your mindset, or I can't do this, or I'm feeling this way, use fear as I like to call it, like, fear is my like beacon of where I'm going. So like, for instance, doing a call, like, of course that's scary. Of course that makes me nervous, but that's where I want to be moving towards. So feeling the fear and doing it anyways is really, really important. And just embracing the fact that all of this stuff is scary because it's new. But then once you're kind of used to it, you won't be as scared anymore. And then you'll find something else that's new and scary. Your fears are going to be developing and growing over time into new and different things because you're doing new and different things. And if you aren't, then you're not moving forward. So feeling that fear and knowing that it's okay to feel the fear, especially in the beginning of your business, is so vital, because I remember being so scared to post on social media or so scared to put myself out there to the world, but that means that you're getting closer to your goals. So feeling that fear and using it as like a beacon of light is then really helpful for me. I think I had something else I wanted to say, but now I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. I think that's all I have.
Girl, I mean, the chat is just like blowing up right now. I mean, you guys all are loving this, right? We definitely have a little bit extra time. Are you open for just like some extra questions and stuff?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go ahead and start one off, but if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat for sure, and I can ask them over to her. But I'd love to hear, as a coach, what's cool about kind of where you're coming from is you talk like you've been a coach for like 3, 4, 5 years, and yet you've been a coach for 11 months. So what would you say to the girl that's just getting started and she's maybe feeling the fear, feeling these imposter syndromes, or she's trying to figure out her schedule? What's kind of the best advice you would give her? Because you just came in and you just knew, like, you had this mindset from like day one. What's the advice that you would give to a new coach to help her like really just get started and kind of get to where you got so quickly mentally?
Honestly, like, dive into personal development, but also I strongly felt at the beginning and now that I felt this way for a reason, and that more is in you for a reason. And I remember messaging Kinsley, I'm gonna start crying. I remember messaging Kinsley one night that I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about coaching. And I was laying there, and I remember she's like, well, that's a great sign. And so for me, I couldn't let that down. Like, I felt that strongly about this before I even started coaching, and it was within me for so long that I couldn't, even though it was just like a feeling, I would be letting that, like, how do I say, purpose or whatever, like, down. Like, I wouldn't be living up to the potential of it, is I guess what I should say. I had all this potential and heart within me, and not chasing it and going after it would be just, it's a waste. So for me, I didn't want to waste that energy and that fire within my soul, and how much that just fueled me in general.
Oh,
and then before the next question, I thought about this while you were talking. I wanted to say this. So I went diamond in 30 days, but as you can see, I'm 11 months into my coaching business and I'm still diamond. So I kind of want to be real about the fact that I hit the ground running, and I have been consistently working my butt off, but I also at multiple times have doubted myself because I'm still at the same rank that I was 10 months ago. It took me 30 days to get there the first time, and this current diamond that I'm building, my husband, has taken me 10 months and I'm still not there. So I don't want you to give up even on getting to diamond in the first place, because everyone's journey is so freaking different. Like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. Maybe it takes you a year to get to diamond the first time, and then a month to build to 1-star. Everyone is so different. And for me, I built my first diamond so quickly, but then this next one I've spent 9 months, and I'm finally almost there, but it's taken me so much time to get there. So I don't want people to give up because they don't feel that they're getting the results they want fast enough. And just stay consistent with it and stay with these, and you will get there on your own timeline. So I wanted to add that in there.
Oh, I love that you added that in. And I mean, the first half of that answer too was just like really exceptional. So thank you for saying that. But it is so true. I mean, all of us truly have such different journeys where it's like we'll escalate really quickly in ranks, and then it's kind of a standstill for a long time, and then maybe you'll hit another escalation. It's funny, I was actually the exact opposite of you, where it took me like 10 or 11 months to build my first diamond, and then it was like 1-star, 2-star, 3-star kind of happened like within the next like 4 months basically, because it's just, and I know Keisha had a similar journey, went diamond really fast, and then it was like right around that same time that I went, a bunch of us on the team all kind of popped at the same time. So it's like everyone has such a different journey, and so stick with it, like you said. I love that. That's a really great answer. Couple other questions that were asked. What are your favorite personal development books, podcasts? What are your favorite kind of PDs?
So I listen to podcasts on my walk in the mornings with my dog. So when I was at my corporate job, I would listen to them in the car on the way to work. Obviously, I listened to Empower Her podcast by Keisha. I listened to Angie Lee very consistently. That's helped me a lot with the sales aspect of things and changing my viewpoint on that. And then I listen to Ed Milet. I love him. He's very just raw and real and just like smacks you in the face, like, get it together. And then Rachel Hollis. So those are like the 4 that I really cycle between. And then books, right now I'm reading the 10X Rule, which I'm obsessed with because I feel like the amount that you need to increase everything is just like mind blowing. So I love that one. And then I think, what's the next one I was going to read? I can't remember the next one I was going to read, but that's the one I'm reading right now.
Yes, great suggestions. I just read the 10X Rule a couple months ago, and it's like mind blowing where you're like, whoa, okay, he has some good points in here. So definitely everyone should check that out. This is a little bit of a pivot for question here, but you mentioned, talking about your Instagram stories, making sure that you're posting about 10 times a day. What are some of the things that you typically share on your stories now that you're at home, or kind of what are some of the things that you share to really keep that engagement high and keep it well-rounded?
Yeah, so my stories, every day I share either my shake or energize. Typically I share energize always in the morning, even if I share my shake later. So every morning I share my energize and my like goal setting or my reading that I'm doing, whatever personal development I'm doing in the morning. And then I share my workout video. And then throughout the day I share things randomly like about my kids or random little things throughout my day. But then every single day I make sure that I share something about my boot camp, whether that's me talking on my story about my boot camp or that's something about like showing a screen recording of the me checking in and the accountability. I share something, usually something about coaching, whether it's hugely coachly related, coachly, is that even a word? Coaching related, or just like a little thing somewhere. But I make sure throughout my day, every day, I'm sharing little snippets, not only of my normal life that fills in like 5 or 6 stories in itself, but I also share things every day about my boot camp, what I'm eating, like my shake or my energize, that kind of stuff, and then something about coaching.
Boom, nailed it.
So
That's, I think, yeah, exactly what I do. I know it's a lot what Keisha does. The way I think we all like to think about stories for anyone that's like, like, what do I do? Our Instagram feed is such a great place for people to kind of like learn how we think, because we're writing things out, we're talking about our mindset, or we're talking about the other things we're passionate about, or our fitness goals, our coaching business. But your stories are such a cool way to just show people the behind the scenes of your life and just really thinking of it like documentation. So even if you're like taking a walk outside, like just show where you're taking a walk. If you're grabbing a coffee, if you're going grocery shopping, if you're checking into your boot camps, it's like, or if you have kids, all of these different things. I mean, I put Nugget on my stories, and if you don't know Nugget, she's my cat, like all the time. And I know sometimes, and I've totally gotten caught up in that too, for anyone that's thinking this, that's like, is this kind of a silly thing, or is this just a filler story? But the stories are what people, it's like your reality show. People actually want to see that stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but I get some of my best responses from the Nugget posts, from me watching Hocus Pocus. And I'm sure, Lexi, you experienced the same thing. People love to see the fitness stuff consistently because they like that predictability and they like to see you showing up every single day. But they also like to see the things that make you you, those quirks, those weird things, that inner side to like behind the scenes, Miggy's dance parties. No. So I love that answer. Cool. I'm not seeing any other questions coming up in the chat. If you guys do have them, drop them now. But otherwise, I mean, Lexi, seriously, you killed this tonight. It was so freaking good. So many mic drops. I just feel like you just condensed so much good stuff into this, and it was just killer. So thank you so much. Is there any last piece of advice you kind of want to leave us with? Any pump ups, motivational things? Just last words from the brain of Lexi.
Oh, geez, the pressure. I mean, honestly, you have to just keep going. I know that you are going to doubt yourself and you're going to feel like you can't keep going. I've asked myself, I'm going to cry. I'm so emotional all the time. I remember many times, especially when I was working full time and I was building this like in the cracks and I wanted so badly to be home with my baby. I remember constantly like asking myself, can I keep doing this? Is this worth it? This isn't giving me the payout that I need right now. But just know that if you're consistent and you keep going with consistency and showing up and helping people, you will move there and you will keep moving forward, even though it's really hard right now and you feel like you can't keep going right now. The people you're showing up for that you don't even know you're showing up for will enroll soon enough. They will join you on this journey soon enough. And I struggled with that really badly at first, especially about right before I left my corporate job. I was really struggling with that. So just know that it is really freaking hard, but it's so worth it. And you will thank yourself in 2 years from now, or however many years from now, when you have a different life than you did before. And all the people that were doubting you and all the people that didn't support you at first, now they're all like, holy crap, like how did she do that? So just keep going no matter what anyone says, no matter what you're feeling that day, no matter how hard of a Monday it is and you don't want to put in the work after work, just put it in, because come Tuesday morning, you're going to be so thankful that you did.
Whew! Chills. Talk about like just way to close it out. Lexi, thank you so freaking much. Literally the chat is just blowing up. It's going crazy over here. So Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. You guys will get the recording posted, but Lexie, just thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.